Hello, welcome to the 2025-2026 school year. My name is Gary Minguez. I teach mathematics here at Pennsville Memorial High School. I've been teaching, I am currently now in my 20th year. I teach geometry, introduction to engineering, and principles of engineering. I'd like to talk a little bit about our class structure. So of course we operate in a class that drops schedule, where we drop 2 classes per day, except for Wednesday we have a full 8-period day. We have about an hour per class on every day except for Wednesdays, which is about 40 minutes per class, of course. I'd like to talk a little bit about what I teach currently. So I'd like to talk about the geometry curriculum first. I like to start every year with geometry, with learning how to speak the language of geometry, learning how to read geometry, write geometry. Because if you don't understand the language of geometry, you can't read it, you can't understand what's being asked. And while I do that, I also try to reinforce the algebra skills that students have learned from their Algebra 1 class, because I want to make sure that those skills are still fresh in their minds. So that way, when they get to Algebra 2, they understand and have a better, a firm grasp of some of those, not only new geometry skills, but some of their older algebra skills as well. And in geometry, we do a lot of different, we go through a lot of different topics. We go through all the properties of our shapes, and we spend a lot of time really, the main shape that we focus on are triangles, and we learn how to write proofs using triangles. Some proofs doing circles. We learn a lot about the properties of polygons. We learn area and volume. We learn how to do linear transformations, where we learn how to rotate, reflect, and translate shapes on a graph. We learn how to do a lot of work with line segments and lines. A lot of work can be done in lines and line segments, believe it or not. And then I like to end the year on probably the biggest topic of all of geometry, and that is the introduction to trigonometry. And I like to teach that last because it's right up to the time where the students take that test, and it's more fresh in their minds. And of course, the whole test itself is to get them ready for the math test. I'd like to talk a little about the engineering classes. So the first class, engineering, is called IED. We abbreviate it IED. It's our engineering 1 class. And basically in that class, we go through what is called a design process and what engineers do. We don't focus in on any particular area very heavily. We kind of hit what engineers do overall. So we focus on basically creativity and innovation, how to make products better, how to come up with new ideas. It is a very activity-driven class where students put entries into their notebooks. That's how they're graded. So they have to keep a nice notebook in that class. I'm teaching them how to do that now in the beginning of the year. Some of the activities they're pretty fun. We learn a whole bunch about sketching. We do concept sketching, perspective sketching, 3D sketching, multi-view drawings, and we learn how to dimension our drawings as well. And the whole idea there is to take our ideas off paper and put them into, when we get there towards the end of the year, put them into a 3D modeling software, sort of like a CAD program. And the program that we use there is called Autodesk Inventor. We do spend some time doing engineering type math, where we do things such as statistical analysis, probability, measurement, unit conversion, which is huge in in engineering, and we do some geometry as well. If students decide they want to continue that track with and taking an engineering class, you can take engineering 2, which we call Principles of Engineering. And it is a follow-up class to IED, which is the first class. Now this class is very activity driven, again, like the other class, but it's very math heavy. I actually call this like a Physics 101. It's like a brief introduction to physics. And in that class, we do everything from simple machines, we build things, test them, we do free body diagrams, statistical analysis. We might even do some electricity. And the fun part of that class is, again, towards the end of the year, we get into some robotics where they actually get to build some robots and program them to perform a certain task. Pretty neat. The grading policy, very simple. It's total points. We try to get 50 to 60% of those total points to come from tests, 30 to 40% from quizzes, and about 10% from homework and classwork. It's pretty simple to get credit for their homework and classwork. All they have to do is give me an honest effort. And of course, if they're doing that, they should perform well in their tests and quizzes. So what do I expect from my students? It's pretty simple. I have one rule: come ready to learn, and the rest is easy. Just when you come ready to learn, you're following the classroom procedures, you're giving your best effort, you're respecting one another and the class and the teacher. So, and be honest, of course. How to contact me? You can contact me here at the school, of course, by phone. My extension is 7212, or by email, gminguez@pveagles.org. You can find me on our website. I also encourage you to check out Google Classroom. I try to keep Google Classroom updated as much as I can. That way it gives the students an idea to see where we are as the week goes on and as the months go on or as the school year goes on. So for example, if a student is out, they can see what we did because I try to post what we did on Google Classroom, or they can at least see the topics. So, and I try to have an electronic copy of what we're doing up as well, so students can also see what we're working on that day that they missed. They can at least look at it electronically. And they can even use extra resources like the internet and different sources on the internet to say, hey, maybe I want to catch up on what Mr. Minguez was doing today and look up their own videos or lessons as well. So that's all I have. I look forward to working with all of the students this year. The start to the year has been great. And if you guys need anything or you have any concerns or questions, please, I try to email right back. I try to get back to especially parents. So if you need anything, do not hesitate to contact me. Thank you, and I look forward to a great year.